Hi everyone. Typically, themes and subjects contain a stepwise voice leading strand functioning at a higher analytical level to the immediate foreground melodic elements. Often the scale degrees of these strands are diatonic, but may also contain notes from a new key if the theme or subject modulates or suggests use of a secondary chord. An understanding of this topic is useful for giving shape and direction to your own themes and subjects, and for determining deeper elements in your analyses. The theme from Invention No. 1 in C major by J.S. Bach begins and ends on the tonic or first scale degree, which is connected by an ascent and descent. While the ascent is stepwise, the descent is staggered by leaps of a third. Harmonically, the underlying progression moves from tonic harmony through the leading note diminished or dominant chord back to the tonic. These harmonies are formed by the stepwise ascent between the first and third degrees and by the compound melody of the descent. At a higher analytical level, this motion may be represented as a sustained tonic with a 3-2-1 descent. The second degree of the ascent is a passing note between the first and third degrees and has no structural significance, and may even be removed from an analysis. The D and F of the descent harmonizes the descending D passing note and creates motion from tonic to dominant function and back to the tonic. At a deeper analytical level, this D may also be removed, however that topic is beyond the scope of the present video. Because this theme is both melodically and harmonically self-contained, it projects the same scale degrees when used, for example, on other degrees of the key. Here in bar 2, the theme appears on the dominant of C major, where the dominant's root note is sustained under a descent from its third, the 7th degree of C major, and in new keys. Here in bar 7, the same voice leading results in the key of G major. A similar voice leading descent may be found in Fugue No. 2 in C minor from Book 2 of Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier, although here it moves between scale degrees 5 and 3. As with the first example, here the initial F is simply a passing note between two notes of tonic harmony, while the descending F, which is again coupled with D, is harmonized potentially as a leading note diminished chord. The fugue's tonal answer then moves from the 1st to 7th degrees, with the C and A natural harmonized as a secondary diminished chord to G, the dominant of C minor. In both these examples, the voice leading moves at a different, slower rate to the surface level notes, and its motion does not include all of the surface level elements. It is therefore outlining a deeper structural level, which typically does not follow the exact shape of the surface level contour. Many examples are similar to these and use descending voice leading strands. An example of an ascending strand is found in the fugue in C major, BWV 547, again by Bach. Here the subject ascends from 1 through a raised 4th degree, harmonized by a secondary chord to the dominant, to 5. The answer then ascends from 5 to 1. Interestingly, here, above the answer, another voice leading strand moves from 5 to 3, the third of which is harmonized by tonic harmony. In this example, although F sharp, the leading note of G major, is part of the voice leading strand, whether a true modulation to the dominant has occurred or whether the answer enters on the dominant may be debated, as the use of harmonies belonging to G only last for 3 quarter note beats, before this F natural returns the work to C. An example of a subject whose answer does modulate to the dominant is in Fugue 11 in F major from Book 1 of Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier. Here the subject moves from a sustained 5 to 3, while the answer moves 1 to 7, with a cadence on C harmonizing the final 1 to 7 move. The underlying progression is also essentially transposed to the dominant, a procedure fairly typical of modulating and non-modulating opening thematic and subject statements. Especially through the duration of a fugue, however, the subject and its initial supporting progression are typically subjected to a variety of alterations. In bars 11 and 12 of the previously quoted Fugue number 2 in C minor, for example, the subject enters in the lowest part with its opening note now sounding as the fifth in F minor. This fifth degree is harmonized as both the minor dominant harmony in F minor and also the tonic of C minor, and acts as a pivot chord between the two keys. The following two notes of the subject originally harmonize at the beginning of the fugue as a single tonic C minor chord, now support a first inversion F minor and a Neapolitan sixth chord, which then moves through a perfect cadence and leading note diminished seventh chord in 4/3 inversion to first inversion tonic harmony, harmonizing the third scale degree. It should be noted that although voice-leading strands and fugue subjects tend to follow established patterns more so than voice-leading in themes, for example, the presence of these strands are not limited to thematic and subject statements and may also be found in other contexts of a work. We have already seen, for example, how in the fugue in C BWV 547, a 5/4/3 strand moves in contrary motion with the answers are sent. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. See you next time.